Hello everyone, Arteza have been in contact with me again and asked if I'd be interested in reviewing some more of their products. As always, they allowed me to choose the items that I wanted to try out, and I've decided to go for the watercolour pencils this time round. I've really enjoyed using my Prismacolors recently and don't possess any watercolour pencils, so decided to go for these. This is the set of 72 and this is the expert range. These also come in smaller sets as well as a larger set of 120, I do believe. So let me just open up the tin. You've got the colours on the inside of the lid with the colour light fastness ratings, and then 3 gorgeous trays of yumminess. So here we go, that's the first tray. That's the second tray, and that's the bottom tray. Now, I will admit, the way that the colours are laid out inside the tin doesn't really make any sense to me, because on the inside of the tin, the colours are all in colour order. So you've got your yellows, your browns and reds, you've got your pinks, your blues, your greens, then your browns and greys and blacks, etc. So I'm just going to rearrange mine so that everything is in colour order. I'm a visual person and I need to see all the yellows grouped together, the reds grouped together, etc, etc. So I will just go off camera and rearrange those until I'm happy with them. I'll probably copy the layout that they've got on the inside of the lid here. I also decided I wanted to try out the grey toned sketch pad. These come in a pack of 2 and this is the 9x12 size. This is £80 or 118 GSM from their premium range, and it's just grey toned cartridge paper. And I just like the idea of maybe using this with gouache, which I've reviewed in the past. So hopefully we'll have a chance to play around with them with this. So let's have a play with these watercolour pencils and see how easy they are to use. I'm going to be using the Arteza Watercolour Pad, the Expert Watercolour Pad. So this is 100% cotton and this is 300 GSM or £140. Now, this is double-sided, meaning that it's got texture on the front and the back of the page. A lot of the Arteza pads are only textured on one side and they're smooth on the back. So as I say, this has got texture on both sides. So let me just pop that down, and I've cut myself a piece of paper that is 6 inches by 4 inches, and I'm going to use it in portrait format. Now I'm going to start off with some of the blues, and I've got Robin Egg Blue, Peacock Blue, Mykonos Blue, Aegean Blue and Blueberry Blue. So I've got these in light to dark order. So I'm going to start off with the lightest colour first. Which side do I want to work on? This side here, it doesn't really matter. They appear to be both the same. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to just lightly scribble on some pigment here like this, leaving lots of white space in between. And I can't stress how lightly I'm applying the colour. The one thing I found whilst I've been playing around experimenting with these is that you don't want to apply too heavy a layer, because if you get too much build up, you can't apply any more colour on top. It seems to go waxy and it saturates to a point that you just can't apply any more. So we'll next go in next with the next colour up. And all I'm trying to do here is just add interest with different colours, just so that it's not, completely flat. And, I just want lots of colours in this, just to make it look interesting. So, and then we'll add the next colour up, which is this one here. This is the Blueberry Blue. In fact, I think this is the darkest one, and then we'll add the greeny blue in the second. I want the darkest colour, more of the dark colour along the middle of the page here, where it's going to meet the greens that I shall apply in a second. I want to make sure that I've got colour to the side as well. So there we go. And then I want some of this Aegean blue as well, which is more of a green blue. So we'll add some of this in as well. And I'm going to bring some of that down into the greens there. So next, I've got some of the greens. Let me just try and pop these into some kind of colour order. Oh, what's that colour there? I've got a purple. Let's move that one out of the way. That will do. So we've got pear green, moss green, basil green, coyote green, and ocean blue. And again, I'm just going to start off with the lightest colour. Just being really random about this. I'm not overthinking about where I'm putting these at all. That looks to be the next lightest. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. Again, just trying to concentrate on getting some colour to the side of the piece as well. And then we can add some of the coyote green. And I'm just going to add a touch of all of these different colours. We'll add some of this one here, which is ocean blue. And I'm going to have some of that going up here into the blue as well. And I want some of the darker ones at the bottom as well. And then finally, we shall add some moss green. I hope I haven't missed anything out. If I have, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And we can add some of that moss green at the bottom there as well. So right, I am going to blend these out. Now I'm going to be using a 1-inch angled paintbrush. This is by Craft Smart. I get asked lots of questions about this paintbrush. I got it in a set with a 1.5-inch flat brush, and I can't remember where I got it from. It would have been the Range or Hobbycraft, somewhere like that. But I've had a quick look online because somebody messaged me the other day asking for details, and Plaid do a similar set, so you know, do go and have a look on Amazon. But it's a 1-inch angled paintbrush, and it's a wash brush. It's known as a wash brush. So what I'm doing now is I've got a jar of plain water here, and I'm not oversaturating my brush. I just want enough water on here just to blend these colours together. Dipping in and adding more water where I need to. I'm going to hold it at the side so that I don't end up with any fingerprints in it. I'll apply a bit more water to the bottom, and isn't that just gorgeous? The colours are so vibrant. That's just really pretty. I like that a lot. So what I want to do now is just blend this, dry this with my heat tool, and then we can add a bit more pigment. This is how it looks now that it's dry, and it's really important to dry between layers as well. So this time I'm going to start off dark to light. I'm going to add some purple. This is amethyst purple, just to add hopefully a bit of drama to this painting. Again, just going over this in some scribbly lines, just a touch. And then I've got a lighter purple. This is lavender, so we can add some of that as well. I always think that purple just looks absolutely lovely in a sky. And then I can add some of the blueberry blue. So this will just intensify the colours. I just want to make sure that I've got some at the side as well. Whoops, try and hold it in place. And then what I'm going to do is blend that all together, just go over the whole of it with the lighter blue here. And this is the Robin Egg Blue. So I'm just going to go over the whole of it now with the Robin Egg Blue, coming down into that green. So we'll pop those to one side. Next, I want to add some more pigment with the greens. Again, I'm going to go dark to light. So this is the ocean blue. So we'll add some of that there. A bit more of that at the bottom. Then the next colour is the coyote brown. There we go, like this. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with the pear green and just go over the whole of the bottom like green area like this. Sorry, I'm struggling to keep a hold of this. And again, I shall just blend these colours together with my paintbrush. Look how beautiful that purple is. Purple, as I say, just really adds something to sky, I think. Isn't that just absolutely beautiful? Love, love, love that. And again, I'm just going to give this a dry with my heat tool. My background's dry now, and that's how that looks. Let me just turn this piece of paper over here as well, just so that it's easier on your eyes. And I've pulled out the black pencil, and what I'm going to do is just draw some flower stems. I want to draw some wildflowers, lavender to be specific. And I'm just drawing like this, no rhyme or reason. I find it easier to have it on the side, but if you want to do it from this angle, you know, that's entirely up to you. And I'm putting more pressure on some of them than others as well. And of course we want them at different heights. So I'm just going to keep doing this. We'll have some at the bottom and I'm crossing them over so that they're all coming in different directions as well. There we go. And I think that will do. And then I want another paintbrush. What have I done with it? Now I've got a Royal and Langnickel number 18. I think this is 3/4 of an inch. And again, I'm just going to dip that into my water. And all I want to do is just activate the lines that I've just made. Not being too specific about it, but this turns it into this lovely green so that it looks just like stems. Really abstract. I love this. And I'm even adding some where there aren't any lines as well, just to create some shadows. And, you know, dipping back into my water when my paintbrush gets dry. And of course, some of them will be darker than others, but just activating that watercolour pencil like this. And I'm happy with that. So now I want to add some lavender, and I'm going to use amethyst purple as opposed to the lavender, and I'm sharpening it. There we go. And I am just going to just keep drawing V's like this. Couldn't get any easier than this. So just a load of V's. Sort of kind of ticks where I've sharpened it. Hang on, let me just try and smooth it out a bit. It's crumbling where I've sharpened it. So just going in with those V's like this, and we'll have some lower down as well. Just want to vary where I've got them, and I'm just going to do this all over the page, not absolutely everywhere. I don't want to completely overwhelm it. So we'll start off with some of those, and then I'm going to come in with the lavender, and again I want to sharpen that ever so slightly. There we go. And what I'm going to do is just add some of that colour in here as well, just so that we've got a bit of a contrast, so that it's multi-tonal. Here we are. Add some of this as well. And I'm just going to keep doing this until I'm happy with it. added my lavender, and this is how my painting is looking. I just love it. I think it's beautiful. And I'm going to use one of the Arteza fine detail brushes. Again, I've just dipped it into water, and I'm just going to activate that purple like this. So just following those ticks, those V's that I made. So this is my finished piece of artwork, and I've decided to turn it into a greetings card. I've mounted it onto a piece of the grey paper and stitched around the edges. I don't know whether you can see. I've also distressed the edges of the watercolour paper with my scissors, and then I've attached it to another piece of that watercolour paper as well. And of course, you know, this gives the recipient the opportunity to frame it as well if they wanted to. I think that's absolutely lovely. Let's see what else we can do with this grey paper. Whilst I was at my sewing machine, I took the opportunity to sew around the edge of one of the leftover pieces, and I folded it in half as well to make a card, because I want to play around with some gouache, which was the reason that I decided to order the grey paper. I just thought it would work really nicely with gouache. Now, I've got a stencil here that was sent to me by my lovely friend Almut in Happy Mail. So I'm going to use this. I'm also going to use some white gouache. This is the Arteza white gouache. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that onto a palette. Let me just remove some of these crusty bits that have just fallen out of the lid. So I'm just going to use a makeup sponge now. How do I want that? About there, like that. I want it on an angle. So I'm just going to use a makeup sponge just to dab some of the gouache through this stencil. And let's see how the watercolours work with gouache. So I'm just going to stamp this all over, and as soon as I've done that, I'll be straight back. So let's lift this off and see what we've got. Oh, that's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So I just pop my stencil to one side. It will wash off really well, and I'm going to give this a dry with my heat tool. The gouache is now dry, and I've picked out two of the pencils, Pear Green and Coyote Brown. I'm going to start off with the brown, and what I'm going to do is just apply a little bit of colour just to the top of the gouache and the bottom, like this, and then I shall apply the lighter green in the middle, and I'm going to do this on all of the leaves. On some of the larger ones, I shall just apply some of the darker colour just on the side as well, like this, and then we can apply some of the lighter colour in the middle. And I'm going to do this to all of them, and then I'll be back. I've laid down my colour, and now I'm going to use one of the Arteza fine detail brushes, and I'm just going to activate the paint, and it should react with the gouache. Look. I was hoping that was going to happen. So I'm just going to drag that colour down. I want some white space as well, because I want this to look whimsical. Well, not whimsical, but sketchy and fun. Just try and blend those colours. I love how that looks. And it's working beautifully. I just think it looks absolutely lovely on this grey toned paper. Grey is certainly the in colour, isn't it, at the moment? So I'm just going to finish doing this all over my leaf, just dragging that colour down. Now, at as you can see, I ended up making another one of these. This one here, I just love that colourway, was using Aegean blue and pear green. And again, I just blended it in exactly the same way. And I just really like the illustrative, sketchy, messy look of these. I think that's really fun. I love that you can see the white gouache in the background as well. So let's talk about gouache. Gouache is opaque watercolour, and it's got a very, very matte finish. It dries really quickly, which is you know, another benefit. Really opaque, and I've reviewed these in the past, and I'll leave a link to the gouache review in the description box below for anybody who's interested. Now, I have turned these into little notebooks. They've only got 3 pages, but aren't these fun, just for, you know, giving away in Happy Mail and that kind of thing. And I've just run it through my sewing machine. Look what a straight line I've managed to sew as well, and I promise you that was me, not Alex. You can also use the colouring pencils dry. You don't have to activate them with water, which I think makes them really versatile. So you don't need to go out and buy pencil crayons. If you've got these, you can use these as well. And they performed in a very similar fashion to my Prismacolors, I would say. So these are the colours that I used for this one here: pear green, fern green, ocean blue, peony pink, purple, plum purple, and sapphire yellow. I should put that in that order because that was the order that I used them. And you know, I've just blended the colours. This is just a printout that I got, a free printable from Gooseberry Moon. So this is, you know, Gooseberry Moon's artwork, not mine, but I just thought this would look absolutely beautiful on that grey paper. And all I've done with this is taken a sheet out of the book, I've cut it to A4 size and popped it in my printer and printed these tags out. Let me very quickly show you how I've done that. Let me just pick out these 3 colours here. I'll just show you very quickly on one of the flowers, because otherwise we're going to be here all day. So I'm applying the darker colour just at the bottom here, like this. Applying a thicker layer. I'm pressing really gently on this. I'm not pressing hard at all. And I want some of the darker colour at the top there as well, and at the top of that petal. And then I'm using the lighter colour, and I'm going over this really gently like this, pressing really, really lightly. And then I'm going to add the yellow, just a touch of the yellow, which I just think looks really nice. And I just keep going at it in layers like this. So going over it again, adding a touch more of that darker colour here like this. And the colours just start to blend together really well. And I did exactly the same with the leaf. Let me just add. And you can spend as much time building up these layers as you want to. But you know, that's basically it. The leaf, I start off with the absolute darkest colour. I'm just going to add some of that green there as well. So we'll add some of this. I'll just do the one leaf. Now, you know, I am no expert at this. This is just my technique, and it's, you know, I'm probably not doing it the right way, but I just absolutely love how this looks. So I'm just building up these colours like this. Blending these together, and then I think I added a touch of the yellow to that as well. But, you know, they just work really nicely on dry paper too. Well, I have really enjoyed using these products today. I just love how versatile the watercolour pencils are, and I think they're equally nice used dry as they are wet. So this is the tag that I did, and I've just cut it out and mounted it onto a piece of black cardstock and popped an eyelet through it. I loved using the watercolour pencils with the gouache as well. I just think that's a really nice scruffy rustic effect that really does appeal to me. So these are these little books that I made. I just think the grey is absolutely absolutely lovely. It's just something a little bit different, isn't it? And of course this is my card. Now, as far as the watercolour paper is concerned, it's beautiful quality watercolour paper. It's nice and thick. 300 GSM is a beautiful weight to work with. And you know, I'm no expert on watercolours, and I do find that I get much better results when I'm using a good quality watercolour paper. So, you know, and as I said earlier, this is 100% cotton. It's just absolutely lovely. Now, I will leave links to all of the products that I've shared with you today in the description box below, together with a 10% coupon code, which is valid until the 22nd of August. I will say that Arteza have provided the products for me to experiment with free of charge, and the codes I'm leaving below are an affiliate link, meaning I get a small commission if you decide to purchase via me. It doesn't cost you any extra, I just get a very small commission. But I will say that, you know, I am always completely honest with my reviews, and if there is something that I don't like, then I will tell you. I loved these. I will also leave the link to Arteza's YouTube channel for you in the description box below, because they've got a wealth of valuable tutorials going more in depth into all of their product range as well, so that's definitely worth going and checking out. But if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask, and if you enjoyed this, as always, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Do let me know what you think in the comments below, and take care everyone, stay safe, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.